One of the most frequently asked questions we get on Buyer's Guide is what soft roader to buy. Now, that's a segment of the market that didn't exist about 10, 20 years ago, and now it's just huge. And one of the names that comes up regularly with our panel as a recommendation is the Hyundai Tucson. Good space, good performance, good package, good overall value. Now, it's been replaced with this, the iX35. To make sure we got the full impact of the iX35, Hyundai, like all manufacturers, pulled out all the stops for the launch of its new baby, kicking it all off with a trip on one of the world's most luxurious trains. Not much has changed on this North British locomotive Class 25 steam engine, built in 1953, perhaps just a touch-up on the paintwork. Its performance might be a bit more sedate than the iX35's, but it shows the same attention to detail in its design. And while all those gauges and knobs might not be ergonomically placed, it's still fun to drive. Our train trip brought us out here to the Entebeni Game Reserve, which is also home to the Legends Resort and Golf Course, which you'll see later. But it's a wonderful, wide open space, perfect for the iX35 to show its mettle off the beaten track. Even though the iX35 is not aimed at serious off-roading, the 4x4 models do get diff lock, hill descent control and hill start assist, just in case the going gets tough. There's also a clever adaptive damping system, which should make light work of most obstacles while keeping the passengers comfortable. If you're thinking this doesn't look like a Hyundai, you'd be right. The iX35 marks a turnaround for the 40-year-old company, whose philosophy used to be to build cars that make sense. Instead, they're embracing their own name, which means modern in Korean. And as the world's fourth largest car manufacturer, Hyundai plans to change its whole model range over the next 4 years. The iX35 is 75mm longer than the old Tucson, and it's also got a longer wheelbase. But one of the major things they've done with it is that they've lowered the ground clearance. And in a graphic they showed us, in comparison to the Tucson, it's definitely got more of an on-road bias in terms of where they're positioning it. The little bit of 4x4ing and off-roading we've done, it handled perfectly, but considering that lower ground clearance, I'm not sure that I would go for the 4x4 option. The iX35 is definitely more high street than bushveld. The traditional hatchback layout has made way for a sleeker, low-line look. The shapely wraparound taillights are accentuated by creases and make for a more feminine appearance than its predecessor, while the curved fenders and rising waistline give the car an athletic stance. At the front, the first thing that strikes you is the dramatic hexagonal grille with its bold chrome crossbar. Together with the aggressive slanted headlights and angular fog lamps, it gives the iX a very handsome face, while metallic finish roof rails and 18-inch alloys complete the picture. On the road, the iX doesn't disappoint either. You have a choice of 2 petrol engines, both with variable valve timing and 2-stage intake systems, as well as a turbo diesel, developing a healthy 130 kilowatts and 392 newton meters of torque. The highlight, though, is Hyundai's new 6-speed automatic transmission. Not only is it the smallest and lightest automatic of its kind, but it also provides silky smooth, quick gear changes. Hyundai's told us that the iX35 is a car that's designed around the driver. Of course, that relates to performance, but it also relates to what you feel like when you're sitting in this seat here, in the driver's seat. And this interior is great. It's got a good quality feel to it. It's very sumptuous. You've got everything you need in the places that you need it. It's clean, not fussy, and very nice place to be. This is the top of the range that we're driving, the 4x4 diesel. So it does have a few little extras that you won't get in the others, like the panoramic sunroof. But for the most part, all the models are very well spec'd. For example, you get leather as standard, except in the entry-level model. And you also have a reverse parking camera in your rear-view mirror, which is a very handy thing to have. Dual-zone climate control is par for the course on all but the base model, as is cruise control and 6 airbags. The boot offers 591 litres of luggage space, growing to 1,436 litres with the rear seats folded flat.
has Hyundai hit the mark with the successor to the Tucson? In a word, yes. It's beautifully designed, lovely from the outside, maybe a little bit too pretty for hectic 4x4ing, but it is a soft roader. And as such, it's extremely well priced. Entry level at about $240,000, going right up to $370,000. So you've got all sorts of models in the range. The engines are great. The interior is wonderful. I'm sold. The computer says yes.